Hi there.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay quieter, because it's morning for you. I didn't want to wake you up.
Except you told me to wake up so that I could be here at this time, and it's the same time as usual.
I know that's my fault.
I don't know that whispering will help.
All right,
It
let's chat. No,
rarely does.
yes. So
Unless we're
anyway,
playing that
hold
one game where you whisper in people's ear.
the witness.
That's the one.
Something's in my eye. Anyway,
Okay.
um,
Do we need to start again?
let's just continue. Hold on, folks. It's another
Hi there.
episode of Würfel Cast,
We
episode
are.
93, and today we're gonna, wrap up the year 2023,
That's right.
and talk about stuff we've been playing. Have some. It's not like awards or anything like that. I was thinking about doing awards, but whatever.
Maybe.
Just talk about games, and we have some categories we wanna talk about. Share our best, maybe worst things in those
Yeah.
categories. Mostly best, because I wanted
Mostly.
this episode to be positive. So let's not
Sure.
talk about bad stuff. Let's talk about good stuff. Mostly, anyway. For me, this year was, I would say, I wouldn't say disappointing, but gaming wise, I haven't played much. So there were some big pauses
Oh,
between some other stuff. People are, I don't know, people around me, they kind of got busy. This year was
oh,
kind of busy, and there was less gaming, and so this is not a 2023 releases, or like the top games of 2023. Kyle has done his own list of best games of 2023. You can watch that on our channel under the Wednesday Whimsy show.
that's right.
So go watch that. I'll get to my top 2023 once we've gone through the cruise. So once the cruise is done, then I'm sure I'll be able to play quite a few 2023 titles, because I haven't been able to play that many of them. So it's not
Sure.
even I played just a few, so I would not be able to make a good top 10, something like that.
Yeah. And for me, it's really the opposite because when I was doing my 2023, my top 23 of 2023, I realized, you know, the highs of 2023 are very high. Many of the games that sort of were the top of my 2023 list are in my top 20 overall, or
Okay.
would be if I were to do it right now. I think some
Yeah.
of the best games of the year are some of the best games of any year.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I also have quite a few titles I really enjoyed, and those titles came in 2023, I think. Yeah. So
Hmm.
so anyway, I would say so. The thing is, this wrap up is not about, as I said, 2023 releases. It's more about the games we played in 2023. They can be released any year. Could be last year or year before that. There are some games that released 2 years ago, but they were so. When we made the list, or at least when I made the list, I tried to put the games, like I didn't put any older games that I played years prior. I tried to put newer games, but they are not 2023 releases. Not all of
Yeah,
them. Some of them are. But yeah, it's my uh, yeah, that's what I thought would be the best to kind of show what we have been doing and playing in 2023,
sure.
and for me as well. So technically, the uh, so for me the gaming year starts with the cruise. Technically, yes. So this is the first big event. So I go there. I play a lot of games.
Mm,
The beginning of the year is very busy at work, so I'm not really playing. So this is kind of at the start. But for me, like spiritually, not spiritually, I don't know. I feel like this is not the beginning of the gaming year. This is the end of the gaming year for me. So the cruise is the kind of a final point, because when I go to the cruise, I retroactively play all those last year's titles. So in
Yes, you
2024
do.
cruise, I'll be able to play those 2023 games, which means I feel like this is more of the end of my gaming year. And after the cruise, like, this is a tabula rasa, it's a new page, new blank page. Let's start again with this gaming year. So that's my it's kind of a shifted year that I have.
Yeah, and that's yours. And of course, mine is, I had enough new games that were 2023 games that fit all of the categories that we were going to talk about, that I believe
Okay.
mine will all be, but I play more games and I play them more quickly than you do. So,
Yeah.
then
So I think
so that's the difference here. But we're not going to find any 2017 games on the list.
no. It's something that came out. Mine are like this year or last year, I would
Yeah.
say, or maybe I don't know. One of those is probably 2 years ago. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly. That
I guess
maybe
we'll
it's
see.
like the end of the last year. Anyway, yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a cool list because of that. Because you bring some newer games in, and I kind of rediscover some old titles, the very old 1 year old titles,
Sure.
because the FOMO is still there, and people are like you said. Overly, when I look at 2023, I look at all the games released and all the games I would like. I sent you a list. I think I sent you a list of games. It was a long list of games. I will
All the
not be
ones
able
you
to
want to
play
play.
all of them. Yeah. It's like 30 something games. I don't know. It's a long list, and this is not all the games released. It's like the games that are like most anticipated by many people, most positively reviewed. So there are quite a few of those games. So I'm looking forward to that.
Okay.
Anyway, uh, let's send this banter and get to the categories. So
There we go.
categories. So I put them up here in a kind of a random order. I didn't really think about like what would be the structure. Just this is the category. Like let's name the game,
Hmm.
and let's get to
Get out my
this.
pen so I can cross them off as we go through them.
Okay, got it. And also, so it's not like awards or anything like that, as I said, but some of these games, there might be like they might fit several categories. I tried to pick different game for each category, but with some of them, like first of all, I some categories are the ones that I don't really play, so I had to fit something. I had anything I had. So some of them can be repetitive. But for
Yeah.
your lists, I don't know if you I don't. But some games are like they're great in that thing and they're great in the other thing. Why should I
Well,
not pick that?
there will be a few repeats, but I tried to limit those.
Yes, me too. Anyway, let's start with the first one, and this category is called Best Minis, Best
Ah,
Miniatures in a Game. And so, Kyle, just pick
just
one.
go. Just do it. All
Yeah,
right.
just pick one.
So the game that I would highlight for this is a game that came out. It was one of the first games I played in 2023. And it will be one of the last games I play in 2023, just because it kind of came out in two waves. And that game is Marvel Zombies. So,
Okay.
this is sort of your standard cool mini or not um, game. It's a zombicide style game, and it has all of your favorite Marvel characters in both heroic form and in zombified form. There's also the giant Galactus that's ridiculous. Um, there's really not much else to say here. This game is all minis. It's light on rules. It's got some mechanisms that mostly just result in a horde of zombies, or either zombies or various human agents following you around. You have some goal, you go in, you do it, you roll lots of dice, you win, you lose. It's a fun, schlocky game, and it's the best of the Zombicide series.
Okay, yeah. So I also played that one with you, I think.
You did.
Um, and it wasn't
Now, you
my
played
cup
it
of
when there
tea.
were only 6 heroes. Now there's 600.
Okay, yeah. No, I mean, wasn't my really my cup of tea because I don't know. Just I really wanted to try a Zombicide game, any Zombicide game. This was my first Zombicide game ever, and yeah, probably not for me.
However, it does have nice minis.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I can see that. So for my pick, this is an older game, not very old, but an older game that I played for the first time this year, and this is Ankh Gods of Egypt, which I think also has a wonderful miniatures. You can see all of those gods, and the smaller ones are okay, but I chose them for those big minis. And if you
Ooh,
paint them, they are really cool looking.
they really are.
Yeah, I
Shockingly
enjoy
from the
like
same publisher.
yeah, and I enjoy how they are like this kind of a fantasy mixed with mythology.
Hmm.
So I enjoy Egypt as it is. So anyway, that's a really cool set of miniatures from Ankh, and Ankh itself is a third game in a series of uh, area control games from Eric Lang, like the mythological area control games. So it was Rising Sun, Blood Rage, and there's Ankh, Gods of Egypt. I wouldn't say I enjoyed it that much. So the game is not my favorite game because, yet again, minis on the map. Yeah, Blood Rage is still the best, I think. But the minis themselves, cool, cool.
And oddly enough, featured in a book that I read this year.
Okay, nice.
They often reference board games, and they didn't say the name, but they said, "No, I can finish on the water because the giant crocodile man lets me," and counts as being in the areas on either side. And I was like, "There's only one game that could be."
Okay, yeah, because there's no water there is water in Kemet, but you
Well,
cannot really
the giant
stay there.
crocodile man kind of gave it away. Um,
True, true. Anyway, let's get
all
to the
right,
next category, and the next category is best expansion.
best
So
expansion. Got it. I found it on my list. Are we ready to go? I'll give my best expansion. My best
yeah,
expansion I've talked about a lot, and that's because it was an expansion that reinvigorated the base game. One of two actually this year that did that. But for me, this one it took the base game to such another level that it's just one of the best expansions I've experienced, and that is Ashes Red Rains.
okay,
Ashes Red Rains takes Ashes Rise of the Phoenixborn and turns it from a kind of a tough two-player head-to-head game, or two plus, but really a two-player game, and turns it into a solo or cooperative experience. And what that does is it lets someone, because the problem with Ashes is that there's a pretty high barrier to entry. You really have to know how things work and understand the mechanisms pretty well to play even your first time and feel like you have a shot. In this one, because you're not playing against somebody, any difference in skill kind of disappears. And it's such a uh, simple set of rules to turn it into a cooperative game. It almost feels like it should have been one from the beginning with competitive play kind of as a sidecar experience rather than the way it is the other way around. There's currently 2 sets out, and each set comes with a big bad you can fight, 2 aspects. You're always going to play with 1 aspect, so sort of 2 versions of that boss, but you can combine that with previous ones if you prefer. And then it comes with a set of I think 4 heroes, 4 player characters, that are slightly reinvigorated. And it's just it enables you to try everything out. And you can play hard and you can play, to the best of your ability and see how the game does against you. And it's never too difficult and it's also never too easy. It's very well balanced, easy to play, fantastic expansion that, once again, it really gave the game new life for me.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Heard that before. Uh,
Yes, because I've talked
Ash
about it
is.
because I thought it was so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Ash is not my type of game, but great. So my pick, and I would say I've not played that many games with the expansion, so mostly played vanilla games. But one of the expansions that I played this year, I think, really kind of added to the gameplay. It's within the campaign, but I felt like the small co-op and the changing uh, challenges that you get through are great. That's the Lost Ruins of Arnak, the missing expedition
Sure.
is the one. First of all, what I enjoy about this expansion, two new roles. And they are interesting. So the newspaper guy, the journalist, has to pick up those newspapers and put the tokens down and get the bonuses. It's interesting. It's different. And the mechanic or the engineer or whatever, they have this wheel that you rotate and you can upgrade the wheel and put down the things, but you like either you take two of the basic resources from that wheel or you take this golden better action, and it's constantly trying to rotate the wheel in into the best possible position and trying to get the most out of this rotation. So I really enjoyed this aspect. It's like it's sort of a small mini game because she gets the resources from this wheel mostly, or some bonuses, etc. Otherwise, she is basic, character. So yeah, these two new characters are great. The campaign is really good.
It was.
I mean, uh, it's basically a solo campaign, but we played it 2 player and really enjoyed it as a 2 player game. So yeah, it didn't. So I like this expansion because it didn't add too much bloat or new stuff. It added, you basically do the same things. You play the same game. It's just some new small new small buttons you can push on this panel, but mostly the panel does the same thing. I like that. I like how expansions seamlessly integrate into the game. That's what I like about the expansion. Don't add too much bloat. Anyway, Last Ruins of Arnak, the Missing Expedition expansion.
And I also played this one, and I quite enjoyed it. It was a good expansion to Last Ruins of Arnak. Not quite as essential as the first one, but fits very nicely with the first one.
Hmm.
Just sort of gives you more, and it makes the solo that was in the base game more meaningful. I will say some of this, it's kind of a rehash of what was available when they put out their app for the game, because that had a solo campaign that used some of kind of the same concepts that were in this one. But this was a nicer way to present them, and it's not a complete recycling of what was there. It's just you don't have to use the app, and it
Yeah.
adds a little bit more story and a little bit more with some of those things you mark off and some of the cards you unlock. So it was a nice way to do that.
Yes. All right. Let's get to the next category, which is best card game.
Okay, best card game. There we are. All right, best card game for me was a game that it was on Kickstarter, and it came out. Excuse me, while sorry, just a tail end of a cold there. Best card game is a game called Earthborn Rangers. So
Mm-hmm.
Earthborn Rangers, it just came out about a month ago. and I got it. And I'll tell you, this is a real. It's so this is a nicer, sort of lower stakes version of something like maybe the Arkham Horror card game. It's without Cthulhu. You're a character and you're going through and exploring this world. It's designed to be kind of a sandbox game experience. So there's not like a high pressure, do this in 5 turns or else the game's going to be lost. It's, you have this quest. The first quest is you have a bunch of biscuits in a basket and you need to go and deliver them. And you only have a certain number of times through the game, right? You could play 2 or 3 sessions probably before the game will kind of take away your biscuit delivery quest and give you something else. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but obviously, you want to do it faster because you want to keep going. And then as you're sort of going through and interacting with people, they'll give you a couple other things. So, you know, deliver the biscuits, but also there's a giant tiger that's attacking a village. Would you go and take care of it? And so then, you're trying to find the tiger, and then you can either fight the tiger and kill it, or you can try and befriend it. And there are different sort of rewards and consequences from each of those. And you just kind of go through the way the game works is the combat. Instead of drawing something from a bag like in Arkham Horror, you will when you're doing a test, you're going to there's this deck of cards, and you'll flip one over, and it will give you a modifier of +2 minus. I think it's from -1 to +3. I don't remember the numbers, but depending on the kind of color of ability you're using, you can kind of see one there in the middle of the board. It looks like that. Then there's a symbol on the
Mm-hmm.
bottom that will activate certain effects on the board. So it might activate all of the red effects, and the red effects might be if there's a predator and a prey out there, the predator attacks the prey, destroys it, but also takes a damage. Or it might do something to you. It really depends on what's going on. And so you're kind of just going through this story. I don't know where the story is going yet. I've played it 3 or 4 kind of full sessions, and it's just a really interesting card game with an interesting world. It's a difficult game to learn. The rules are not all that well written, and there's a tutorial that is actively bad because it teaches you some rules that are wrong. I mean, it's sort of like, it says do this for the tutorial, but then don't do it again. But if you're not paying attention, you'll find yourself doing it again. I really liked it. And I'm planning on finishing the campaign here to sort of see where it
Okay.
goes. I'm hoping
Mm-hmm.
that it, eventually kind of finds its legs and develops a story that is more than just wandering around. I'm hopeful it will. It seems like it will. It seems like it's moving towards something. And but it's just a card game, and it's a really good one.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one I'm interested in. I want to try. I wasn't enamored with the box art. It's. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just
it's a
don't
tree.
don't like. If I would see this box on the shelf in a friendly local gaming store, I would probably skip this. It doesn't
Yeah,
look
it
good.
doesn't look compelling, and it is a campaign. So if you don't want to play one, not the game for you.
That's also a
And
problem. Yet again, the
and it's
campaign.
it's a hard game to get into. I will say
Mm-hmm.
that it doesn't come with like a pre-created character. The tutorial kind of walks you through, but ultimately it says, choose 10 cards out of 50. And you don't really know what you're choosing. It does give you a suggestion of 2 of the cards, but I kind of
Okay.
wish that it came with kind of like basic Arkham Horror did, where there's just a character that you could just play. If the
Yeah.
deck building aspect isn't that interesting to you, then that part will be a barrier to entry. Again, I don't
Okay.
know that it matters. I've overcome all those obstacles, but it's not. It doesn't present itself as user friendly as it could.
Okay. Got it. All right, so my pick for the best card game, and some of you might disagree with that. Say it's not a card game. It is. It is a card game.
Uh-oh.
Shut up and never say rubbish things again. It's Expeditions. So Expeditions is as they say, a sequel to Scythe. I would say, okay, spiritual sequel. Probably. I
I'm glad you
wouldn't
chose to
say.
focus on the cards there rather than the large map and minis. But
Yeah.
there we go.
So this is the whole thing. Yeah, but look. Uh, First of all, Expeditions. Yes, it has the same art as Scythe. It has the same kind of a end game goal kind of thing, collecting stars and stuff, but it's still different. So it's not. If you're looking for like direct sequel to Scythe, I wouldn't say it is. Now, why is it a card game? Look, this huge
Yeah, I'd
board.
like to know.
Yes. Ooh. Wow, you're moving your mech on that. But every possible action you do it with the cards. You want to meld, you want to, collect the resources, you want to banish the corruption. Everything is on the cards. When you do the quest, this is the card that you tuck down, you get the bonuses from the card. When you meld, this is the card action that you put beneath your player mat. You get the bonuses from there. So you have your hand, kind of a hand, the left side, and then the play area, which is the right side. You play the cards there. You put the workers on there. But the workers, it's not a worker placement game. It's basically activating the card's special powers with that worker. Ooh, it's all cards. It's basically a card game because everything you do in this game, and you can see in the center of the board, you can pick up some new cards. Oh, and you're gonna pick up a lot of cards because the cards is the heart and the core of the game. You're trying to find the best combination of the cards and how you play them in order to win the game. There is everything else. It's the same as with Earthborn Ragers. You have a map, so it's not a
No, you
card
don't
game. It
actually.
still is, but
You don't
still.
actually have a map. You just have a
But
bunch
there
of
is
decks
like,
of cards.
but I mean, like, there's some other components. So this one is just for moving the mech around, but everything else you kind of do is with the cards. I like the idea of you have this play, gather, and move. I think, and then each turn you have to you have to put the token on one of those three actions, so you get the other two. But next time you have to move the token to one of the other actions, and then you get the other two actions. So you always have to kind of abandon one of the actions. But anyway, I enjoyed this game, and this is totally just a card combo building game. The board that you have there is deceiving. It's not like it's going to be a huge exploration game or anything like that, because all of the tiles will always be there. If you play 2-player, 3-player, 4-player, all of the tiles will always be there. And yeah, the mech moving is basically positioning yourself on those tiles where you get the actions and can collect corruption. Yet again, you do everything with the cards. So yeah,
Well, it's definitely a
it's a
game with cards. Um, I enjoyed Expeditions. I don't know that I would think of it as a card game, but you do, and that's fine.
I do.
I enjoyed it. I kind of wish there were a little bit more. I don't know. I maybe wish that there were a bunch of locations you wouldn't see, or that they didn't always come out in that pattern,
Yes.
or
Yes.
something like that. A little bit more free form, and I guess it's kind of balanced to work with what it has. But I'm looking forward to seeing if something else comes out.
Yeah, so this is the thing. If they expand on some new mechanisms like exploration, for example, and more of the tiles or some secrets and stuff, if they do more with the board, I will retract my words that this is a card game. Right now, the base game is totally a card game. If they expand it further, I'm not gonna say it's a card game anymore, because if there will be a lot of exploration and more use of mechs, because mechs are basically your pawns. You don't even fight each other. You just block off spaces with those mechs. You just move them
You don't
around
fight
to a
each other.
tile. to a tile, you don't fight there. So Scythe is a full-on board game because you do a lot of stuff on the board. You still have cards, but you do a lot of stuff with your main player board, with the tokens. You put the things on the map. Here, you do nothing with the map, except you just move around it. And it's just it could have
and
been done with
activate
the cards.
spaces.
It could have been done with the cards.
But it
All of
wasn't.
that could have been done with the card.
Um,
Anyway, yeah. So
that would be awful to say.
of
It's definitely a game
yeah.
with cards.
a lot of cards, and this is the core of the game. Play the
A
game.
game with cards it is.
Play the game. Tell me.
I have.
If the cards are no, not you, the other ones.
Oh,
If the cards
okay.
are if the cards are a side dish or they are the main dish in this game.
they definitely feature prominently.
They're the main thing there. They're the core of the
Right.
game is the cards.
I see.
Anyway,
So
expeditions.
moving on from the game with cards,
It's
what's
a
next?
Scythe card game. Yeah. Let's get to the best IP game.
Okay. Well, that one's easy and not going to be a surprise.
And Generic Fantasy is not an IP, Kyle.
Generic fantasy isn't. However, Masters of the Universe definitely is. Because it is. It was made to sell various specific characters.
I cannot argue that.
He-Man, this is, of course, this is the Clash for Eternia, not Fields for Eternia. That one might come up later. This is, and I say it all the time, this is the game I wish I had when I was 10. Now, I'm not saying it's a children's game, and it might have been too complicated for me when I was 10, but it just enables you to take all of your favorite characters from He-Man and the Masters of the Universe and just go at it. And, there's some you're playing a scenario, but the scenario is really just, going to be, it's not a campaign. So you'll set up the scenario, and in this one, you're trying to get points, or this one, you're trying to hold an area for a certain number of turns, or you're trying to knock out everybody, whatever it is. The rules are very simple. You just do a couple actions on your turn, and they're basically move, fight, or use various special abilities. The characters all have their own unique abilities that are really fun and kind of add some flavor to the game. I played this with my brother a couple weeks ago, and I was just dominating it until he realized, and the characters upgrade themselves really quickly, and Skeletor all of a sudden got the ability to teleport himself and somebody else pretty much anywhere he wanted, and that really changed the game, and he was able to sort of come in with that and just sort of eke out the win. But I like it because you can also, look, sometimes you're supposed to have hero-only sides or villain-only sides, but you don't have to. You could mix them. A world exists where that can happen. And so you can kind of just make the teams that you want. You can have the epic clashes you want. And it's going to be, the way that it works is one person controls a team of exactly 3, and the other person, you could play it as a team if you wanted, but it's really a 2-player game. The other person will control 1 to 4 characters. And that's an interesting balance, because if you control just 1, he's going to be activating every single turn. So he's able to sort of run in and do everything. Whereas if you chose 4, you have a huge slate of special abilities, but each one's just going to activate once per round. And so it's an interesting sort of balance the way that works. I found they all work really well. None of them is super easy or super difficult. Rules light, character heavy. It bathes itself in the IP, and I just love it.
Okay, cool, nice. It's an American thing.
Yes, it is.
Masters of the Universe is not really.
Well, there is a European version of this game that came out, which we might talk about later.
Yeah, I'm saying that during my childhood, it wasn't really that popular here.
It was, you have, you were in Eastern Europe, and it would have taken longer to get there anyway. This was an IP that was created to sell toys to children, and it has kind of developed the story after selling toys to children.
Okay. So my best pick for the best IP game is from the video. It's not a video game, but it's made out of the video game, Deep Rock Galactic.
Oh,
I feel like what it. So I was. This it says 2022, but I don't think it kind of came to retail until 2023. By the way, I think it's a 2023 game actually.
I think that's also
I
correct. I don't
I
think
don't know
the
exactly.
Kickstarter even delivered until
Yeah,
2023.
yeah, because I started seeing it in the shops, so I only bought it recently, so I it just came into retail, so probably the Kickstarter just got in there. Anyway, Deep Rock Galactic is it's a video game that you are dwarves and you are just going into in your space rig. You're going to those caverns and they are full of those different bugs and stuff, and you're mining for resources, trying to find the valuable resources. You have some missions, like you have to find a lot of morkite. This is one of the resources, and then there's other resources that let you get some more bullets and stuff. You have your guns. Eventually you upgrade yourself, your guns and stuff. You do different missions, get the credits, and it's kind of a snowballing game where you're going through the different. It's also, I would say, a campaign game, because you do a lot of missions, different missions. You can pick any mission kinda, but in the beginning, when you start playing the video game, you have to kind of go through the first 8 missions. It basically teaches you all the different mission types, and they are all very different. Anyway, Deep Rock Galactic, the board game, really delivers on this IP on the video game, because I could totally feel it. So you have those caverns, and you have those empty spaces, and you can mine them. So basically, carve the path out. So which is great. You have those different dwarves. There are 4 of them: the engineer, the scout, the soldier, and the driller, and they have those related abilities, the guns, and how you overclock them. It's I mean, it's not. It, it is kind of mechanical. There are some things that are not completely video game related. They need to make a board game first of all. But all those different enemies, the smaller ones and how the big ones interact with you, how there are different elements, and how if you have a flamethrower, you roll the dice and then you can assign hits next to each other, because it's a flamethrower. You kind of you blast with a wave of heat and the frost and the same things, or the bullets that ricochet or go through. It's all in the game, and the obstacles and stuff. I really enjoyed my first few plays of that. Just played only a few scenarios, so I really want to go through more of that book. But you can, it is kind of like a campaign game, but it's not fully, because you can go through the different scenarios from 1 to whatever, or you can just pick any scenario, play it. That's what I like. I would love to go through the scenarios as I go, because the difficulty, just fires up.
It does.
But yeah, it's the limited bullets and stuff, how you get them, and grenades, and everything kind of screams. Everything screams Deep Rock Galactic. It's a wow moment when I will say thank you for not ruining the video game for me, or the video game idea in this board game. And it's a co-op, so as it should be, of course.
And this is one where, of course, I still have not played the video game that it's based on. My experience is solely with the board game, and I quite enjoy that experience.
You can play the video game alone. You have this bot. I think you can play this one as well as a solo. You get this you get this bot or something with you. In the video game, you can also play solo, but it's more fun if you play with different people. So because each of you gets the dwarf, and then you play together.
Sure. Yeah, and I've played this one solo with sort of that bot, and it's okay. It's fine. It's an easy set of rules. It just gives you a couple extras of actions. I've also just played with 2 characters.
Okay. But it's the same as the video game.
You can do
The
that.
bot the
Oh,
bot
okay.
gives you opportunities to mine some extra resource, so you kind of it helps you out as kind of a NPC dwarf
I
that would
see.
do the same, like mine and get the stuff for you, and carry and
Oh,
etc. So basic stuff. Anyway,
well, someday I'll play it.
yeah. So the next category is best art.
All right.
Show
So
me your
best
best art.
art for me, there were a lot of good games with good art this year. But I think the one that I like the best, and it's not just the best art, it's also great production. And it's a game I didn't really enjoy, but I love the way that it looks. And that is, I think it's called Age of Comics Golden Age, something like that.
Yeah, Age of Comics, the Golden Years.
There we
Yeah,
go, the
okay.
Golden Years. This is a delightful looking game. It's got, you're sort of an artist sort of creating comics or trying to knock off other people's work, and you're trying to create comics with different sort of values. You've got characters that are either artists or writers, and you can get the ones that kind of work together, or if you don't, then they can learn from each other. And everything has this nice retro comic-y feel. Each of the cards, each of the comics is a well illustrated version that sort of looks like one sort of an old comic book you would find in a shop, and the knockoff versions are sort of similar art with a slightly different version, sort of change of the name. Um, it just looks like it was really lovingly designed artistically. Now, with the mechanisms, I'm not sure it's there. I didn't find the game to be all that much fun. I found lots of the concepts to be very fiddly. But the way that it looks is just really fantastic. And it really kind of, I mean, visually, it does everything it wants to. And I have to tip my hat to it for that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's yes, it's stylish, but I would say it's a specific style. Yeah, I don't like the look of the board is it's too beige. It's kind of the tokens that are like, I don't know, not rounded, etc. It feels like it's a retro thing. It's the same as with the
Yeah,
Dinosaur Island kind of thing. Like everybody said, ooh, it's so garish and purple and whatever. It's like neon stuff. But some people like, I enjoy this kind of art, and yeah, I definitely see the artistic kind of a enjoyment from this one. I don't like this. I don't like how it looks, but it's all about this. I think it's a style thing. I can
hmm
see how some people might like it quite much.
and
Yeah,
and I do. I mean, but again, I don't like the game, so I mean, it's definitely not worth buying just for the art.
true. Anyway, my pick for the best art is I think it came out this year.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, because it was delayed. Like it should have come out like 20 years ago or something. I don't know.
20
It
years.
was not really. I'm exaggerating, but
Oh,
I mean
okay.
it got delayed so much. They
Wow,
are.
that's quite a delay.
I'm 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 curious how like what is taking so long? What are they doing? So this is from the Time Stories. This is from the
Oh,
Time Stories Revolution, and yeah, 2023. So it's the Cavendish Manor that I played, or Cavendish. Okay, that's the Cavendish Manor. And as you can see from the box, you can totally see the art already here. I don't know how much we can spoil, but there Time Stories art. And I enjoyed this scenario. I wouldn't say it has done some things differently, and it's cool. And I enjoy the new Revolution series of Time Stories because now, look, I think, well, yeah, I already played three of this: like the Hadal Project, the Midsummer Night, and this one. And I've never had to reset the game. Like in Time Stories, the original one, you have to reset and start to run again. With this new crystal mechanism, I just go through the story and I enjoy it. It's so much better. And the people who say the old mechanism was better, uh, I'm gonna flip the bird on you. This is much better thing, and I don't know if there are any pictures of the stuff here. Sadly, it's hard to see,
Okay.
but this manner you can
Great art.
see it.
You can't see it, but great art.
You can kind of see it on the picture here. Like it's dark and it's very, you know, like you can maybe see on the box here. It's very graphical, you know. It is like that because Time Stories was always, it's all about, you know, the big panoramic pictures.
Yes,
It was always good looking, as probably you
it was.
might agree.
Even though I don't like the game, it was good looking.
Yeah, but this one, the art is very good. It's amazing art. I love it. Anyway,
Okay,
and then the scenario was good.
good.
Let's get to the next topic, which is best co-op.
All right.
It's the
Best
game where you
co-op.
fight each other. I'm kidding.
Oh, all right. The best co-op for me is an easy one. This was such a delightful game. One of my most played of the year. A two-player cooperative game about landing a plane. That is Sky Team. It's just
Okay.
such a delightful co-op game. It's short, it's 10 minutes long, which means, it's not hard to rope someone in because, you're saying, look, if you hate it, it's 10 minutes. But usually it ends up being 20 because we play it twice. But, but what you're doing is you are trying to land a plane. One person's the pilot, one person's the co-pilot, and you're not supposed to be communicating, sort of, right? You can talk about things and say, well, we should try and move two spaces this turn, or you really need to focus on that. And then once you start the action, then you're not supposed to talk anymore. You roll your dice, you have 4 dice, and you're going to place them out on this board, which you see there in the middle. And each player is kind of doing different things, except there's a couple of things that you're cooperating on. And you're communicating not directly, but if I put my 4 here, I'm giving you a message, right? It means don't put a 1, or whatever, right? There's sort of unspoken ways to communicate, and it's a really interesting game to play with new people because being able to kind of sync up with them is fascinating. Or with people you sort of develop a rhythm, and that's good too. And there's lots of different modules. Each there's the game comes with, I'll guess, 15 different airports you can try and land at, and each one uses some different combination of little add-on modules, and they're all very easy and fascinating and interesting. Some are difficult, some are easy, and it's very much a cooperative game. It's not a solo game. I mean, it's not for 3 players. It's a 2-player game. But that's okay. 2 is usually an easy number to play with, and I just really enjoy it. Very cooperative, very good, just as a game. Not stands alone, not just as a co-op game, and one that I have really enjoyed since I discovered it in September.
Right. Cool. Yes. My best co-op game is a repeat because
Uh-oh.
I looked at different. I haven't played that many co-op games, and of the ones that I
Let's
played
see,
for the
that's not
first
really a
time,
thing.
it's Deep Rock Galactic again. So
Well,
not
there we
gonna
go.
talk much about that, but as I said,
I've heard
it
about
just delivered. It
it.
delivered on the video game genre, and video game genre is very co-op, so
Sure.
it did well. That's Deep Rock Galactic.
There we go.
Best solo game.
Hey, I'm assuming this is a solo topic, but maybe you play them.
I'm gonna have a
You
pick
have a
as well.
solo game. Is it Deep Rock
It's
Galactic?
yes, no,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
but we'll get to that.
So my best solo games game I've talked about a few times, because it was a surprising and exciting solo game, and that is 20 Strong. 20 Strong from Chip Theory Games. It's a game with only one chip, and lots of cards, and lots of dice. And what you have is 20 dice. 3 of them are tracking dice, and the others are actually used in the game. And each die, its color will tell you its probability of a success. Red always hits and has one side where it hits double. All of them have one side where it hits double. And then like yellow, I think, has only 2 hits. And so various levels between there. And then you take one of the chip theory games sort of properties. There's Solar Sentinels, which is new for this. And I'd actually like to see a full game in the Solar Sentinels version. Then there's a version that's based on Too Many Bones and a version that's based on Hoplomachus. And you're going to be playing through sort of with these core rules of you choose a card or more that you want to encounter, you set it up, and then you're going to roll as many dice as you would like and assign them to try and defeat these challenges. And you have a certain number of times you can re-roll and even add more in if you like. But once you've beaten this thing or failed to beat it, the dice you used are exhausted and you have limited abilities to recover them. And so, you're trying to upgrade that stat because that stat's very important. But you're also trying, to sort of make these dice last, to make, use the right number. You don't want to like come in on a wimpy little bad guy with 14 dice. You'll definitely win, but you won't be ready to face any of the other challenges coming up. A nice balance there of how far do you risk? How close to the edge do you feel you can go? When do you use those horrible yellow dice? I mean, you have to use them eventually, and they have their use, even though they miss a lot. It's just really interesting, and I enjoy all 3 of the separate sort of games in this line. The Solar Sentinels is kind of the basic one, and then the other 2 have flavors of the games that they're trying to represent. The Too Many Bones feels inspired by Too Many Bones, but it doesn't replace the base game. However, the Hoplomachus Victorum might, because that game is an 8-hour solo game, and this one is a 20-minute solo game, and it's very compact, perfect to take on a trip with you, which is where I often play this. I find myself bringing this as one of my travel games of choice. It's solo only, so know that going in, but it's a fantastic solo game that's designed to be one, and one I really enjoy.
Okay. So for my pick, this is basically the series of games and the series of scenarios. And I don't remember exactly which of them I played, which of the scenarios I played solo. So sorry for that. I'm gonna, pick the one I pick the box I played this year. I probably played one of the scenarios there solo. And it's a co-op game, but actually it's like you share everything anyway. There's not really a full co-op experience. It's a lock series. And
Okay.
I will go with the game adventures, but I don't exactly remember if I played I played several scenarios, and some of them I played solo, so I don't remember. But this is look. Of course, people play it together, and I play it with somebody else. I love to play with somebody else because it's an escape room game, and if you have more of the people, uh, more people is better because they kind of can see something you cannot see. But overall, there's not much. I don't know. Maybe in this one there was something that you have to play it with more than one player, but basically almost all of them you can play it alone, or if you play with the other ones, you just share all of the information, just share everything. It's the same as just playing solo. It just the second person has their own opinion, or they can see something you couldn't see. That's the only thing,
Sure.
escape room game. And the adventure unlocks box was really cool. I really enjoyed it. It has Mysterium, Pandemic, and Ticket to Ride scenarios. But I don't exactly remember. There was another one that I played. I'm sure I played something solo. So this is the one I would play solo. Rarely,
Okay.
because it just you just pull out the cards, you start. It's an escape room game. It's
Yes.
totally a solo game. So yeah, I
Okay.
mean it's not solo only game, but for me, this is the one I would play solo.
Very well.
All right. Let's get to the next topic, which is most anticipated, and that
All
means
right.
that the game that we anticipated the most this year. Whether we liked it or not, I didn't pick it on that thing. I picked the one that I anticipated the most this year, and I might not like my pick.
Oh,
I mean,
well, I do like mine. And mine is a game that when they announced it, I was super excited about it because it's it's almost, I mean, it's a standalone game, but it expands another game series that I just love. And I was all in on this. I watched videos of people playing it, which I never usually do. I just, I kept wanting to try this game and really hoping it would be amazing. And I eventually played it at the Dice Tower retreat, and finally my version arrived a few weeks later. And this is Unmatched Adventures: Tales to Amaze. So what this does, and I've kind of used it in the same sort of breath as Red Rains, is that it takes an existing system and makes it into something cooperative. In this case, it's Unmatched, and if you have all 30 some plus fighters of Unmatched, you can use them all in this. But what you have is two big bads. There's the Mothman, and his goal is to destroy some bridges, and he has mechanisms that he's going to follow to do that. And you have a Martian invader, and it's trying to sort of drop a bunch of aliens in these fields and advance its track. And then you're going to sort of fight against some minions too. They're all sort of old school horror. There's the Blob and the Jersey Devil and sort of that type of monster. And it kind of takes the same turn order system that Aeon's End has, where you sort of have a shuffled deck of turn order cards, flip one over, and that's whose turn it is. And then you're going to take your characters and play basically classic Unmatched rules, your sort of same two actions. Combat works the same, except when you're fighting against a bad guy, you'll flip a card over, and there's one sort of 0-0 card in there. So you always have a chance of succeeding. You don't know where it is, or you might, because some of the characters might help you find it. But it's Unmatched, and it's cooperative Unmatched, it's solo Unmatched, a chance to play with all of those characters you have sitting around. It was one that I was really excited for. And when it came out, I was really excited to play it more. And the only criticism I have, the small criticism, is that there's only two big bads, and there need to be 20. Um, so my only criticism is
okay.
that I want more. But I was so anticipating this. I was checking those Kickstarter updates, making sure I hadn't missed anything, groaning at every delay, excited at every step toward fulfillment. I was really into this, and I'm glad. I think it paid off.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Fine. I'm not an Unmatched fan, so. But as you said, if it's a co-op, I might give it another chance because
Okay,
I might enjoy it as a co-op game. I'm not
you
enjoying
might.
games that are all about the players, like the two-player games that are all about if somebody has played it enough, they're gonna destroy you, and I don't like that. I like a fair fight. So
Well, it's fair. You just have
it's
to get good.
yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to play it 10 times before that. So my pick for most anticipated is the one I really, really looked forward to. I didn't back it, but I was like, at some point, I was like, ah, gosh, why didn't I back it? I really wanted this one because it looks great. It has those mechanisms. It was like, oh, it's like Lost Ruins of Arnak. It's it's gonna be amazing, and the art and the theme and everything. Endless Winter is the one that I really wanted. And then I tried it this year on the cruise, or not on the cruise, with you at your home.
That's right.
Yes. So this is a card game. I'm kidding. This is not a card game. Though this is mostly a card game. I mean the core, but it's not fully a card game. It's a hybrid of a board game and a card game. Anyway, I'm kidding. So the thing is that it's also this worker placement mixed with kind of like a deck building. It's also a different deck building, and I I was looking forward to this one, and it kind of disappointed me because with Last Ruins of Arnak, I could kind of feel like Last Ruins of Arnak feels easier, easygoing. The cards, everything. You go explore the jungle. It kind of felt good. This one felt, and I wouldn't say it's uh, too complex, but it felt like too much going on. Like this mini game here, this mini game here, this mini game here. This is kind of a yet again this thing where they throw everything into the kitchen sink. They mix it up, and that's how it is. I thought it would be a worker placement with deck building, just like Last Ruins of Ornak, but maybe with some other things going on. The board itself, this I'm sorry, this stupid mini game of those tokens that you put down on the resources. I don't know what it is on the upper side here. It's so
The
stupid.
megalith
I
structure.
dislike it so much. It's like,
Oh.
why is it in the game? What relation does it have to the game? Nothing. It's just a mechanism to shift through another mechanism in. The area control, it's also, I don't know, clunky. I didn't like that. I like the cards. That's the thing. I like the card game part. It was good. But the worker placement was weak for me. And yeah, and I don't want to say it's a bad game. It's a good game, but the one I wanted from this, I felt like they they did too much. They put a little bit too much into this game.
See, and I had the exact opposite experience. I was not interested in this one at all. It looked like a sort of just a mediocre theme that I wasn't all that into the art. And I eventually picked it up, and I just absolutely loved this. I love almost everything about it. The only thing I wish is that the solo were more challenging. I played this is one of my best games of last year because I
Hmm.
got this one and played it in 2022. But for me, this game is fantastic and is sort
Yeah,
of one of the best of its type. And you liked it less, so you anticipated it more and liked it less.
yeah. Maybe it's all about the anticipation itself that I
It
wanted to
might be.
have this kind of another game in the style of Lost Ruins of Arnak, but it's totally not. And no, it's just some
It's a
mechanisms. I
different game
just
than
don't
that.
like them.
Um,
Don't like them. The blend of all of the mechanisms is the thing I didn't like. So even if I turned off my kind of anticipation thing in my head, I looked at this game again and was like, nope, it's just the blend of mechanisms that doesn't work for me.
and it worked so well for me, but again, it was more of a surprise for me. All
Yeah. Okay, so let's get to the next topic, which is best Euro game. Best Euro.
right, best Euro game, and I believe this one will qualify as a Euro game. This is a game about delivering power to cities across East Germany, and that game is Nucleum. Nucleum.
Yeah, I want to try that one.
Nucleum is very much a Euro game. It is not light. It is not breezy. It is not small at all.
It is a Euro game,
Um,
yes.
it's by two designers of Euro games, David Turzi, Simone Luciani. What you have is it has a very interesting mechanism here. You have these little action sticks, and they can be used for two different things. You can kind of play them above your board there in those notches you'll see to sort of take the actions, and then you keep those action sticks. And when you do a reset action, you're going to take them all back, and you can use them again. Or you can take it and put it out on the board as a train track. And if the colors match, for example, if you put an orange base into an orange city, for example, you get to do the orange action. But then that thing stays on the board forever. And it expands your network, though. So you're able to sort of go and do things in different places. So an interesting push and pull there. You can burn all your actions and find yourself with very few left, or you can, but have strong presence, or you can keep them but find yourself trying to catch up in the sort of network building game. And then ultimately, your goal is to sort of develop buildings near sources of power and near resources to power those, and then kind of combine them with another action where you can kind of turn on a building. Just really a fascinating game. I like that there's sort of 5 end game triggers you're trying to go for. You need 2 of them or 3 in a 2-player game. At a 2-player game, this is really snappy. I mean, I played it with 2, 3, and 4, and I like it with all 3, but it's a great game to learn it too, because there is so much there. It's hard at the beginning maybe to see how all the pieces will connect. I find most people will have a more competitive experience on their second time through, because by that point you've sort of realized, okay, this is when it's an interesting, that you can't really figure out when to kind of pivot between, building up your engine and taking it apart and putting it all over the board. And so, that takes maybe a play to do. The rules themselves, though, are not hard. It's, there's not that many. All the actions are very clear, excellent player aids, but very Euro, and a lot of fun. This is just a fantastic game, one that I fell in love with at the Dice Tower Retreat and have been praising its glory ever since then.
Okay. Yeah. The one I want to try.
I will say it's kind of ugly.
No, it's okay. It's colorful. So my pick, and this one is kind of ugly. I would say not the best art, but my pick for the Euro game is the one I played at the cruise. So I played it with you, and then somebody else wanted to like some random people wanted to try it, and I was like, let's play this one because, and I told them that I just played it recently. I got taught. I haven't read the rule book. I'll just try to remember all the rules the same way I was taught, and I did quite well. Maybe I forgot like 1 or 2 things. Like we looked at the rule book. It's fine, and it's called Lacrimosa.
Sure.
It is a 2022 game. I think it was at the end of 20, like S and something like that.
It was
full release and retail. I think it came out in 2023. Like you could not really get it after Essen.
I did, but
yeah. Look, it's fine. It's 2022, but like towards the end,
played
it's fine.
in 2023. So go ahead.
Yes. So I wouldn't say it's a great looking game. I wouldn't say that. Mozart,
I wouldn't either.
Fine. I'm into, my profession is composer, and I know about Mozart, but it's not like I really would love to play a game about his life. It's not something that interests me that much. But
why is it on your list?
I was enamored with the game.
Okay.
Because of the mechanisms, because those juicy Euro-y dry mechanisms, juicy dry mechanisms. It's both juicy and dry. So the card play. Oh, I really enjoy the card play. So you have the upper and the lower part of the cards, and you slot them into your player board, and that's how you play them. Yeah, and you have the actions, different actions you can do. And if the cards that you always have to choose a card for the upper part and the lower part. So it's not like the lower part is basically your resource income for the next round. You have to anticipate what you will need. And you have a limited resource track here where you cannot really go beyond that. You have at most 4 of that type and the other type and whatever. I like this kind of a narrowing it down, and then you can get some special abilities, some extra things, and you can get new cards which are cooler cards than the ones that you have initially, like basically upgrading your cards. A little bit of that deck building going on. I really enjoy that.
Sure.
Then going around the board is okay. It's like your usual, just go around the board, score the things, get the tiles, blah blah blah, Euro stuff, get some points, get some extra resources, etc. A lot of management going on. Then the scoring thing, this thing here, this one it was confusing the first time. It's not totally intuitive, but basically it's not just about you put some of your tokens down and then you win it, and whoever has the most of their tokens. It's all about the nodes. You have 16s and you have the eighth nodes, and then basically what is the majority of those nodes that matters more, and then we look at whoever has the majority within that thing going on there. So yeah, it's a cool idea of a
Sure.
scoring. Once I played it again, I was like, okay, I'm fine with it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just this whole. So we will have this next category. We will talk about the mechanisms themselves. The card play. Uh, it's not there on my list with mechanism, but this is one of the mechanisms I thought about when I wanted to pick a game. So this one of the coolest mechanisms I tried this year. This card play.
Sure. Okay.
So yeah,
There you have it. I like this one, right? I find it, it's thematically, I'm not sure it's there, but I
yeah, it's
enjoy
a
the
Euro game.
game.
Yeah.
It's yeah, and it's one to try twice. I think and that's often the case with games like this. Is the first game is often figuring out how things work together, and then you can kind of actually play it after you've done that.
Yes, that was the case for me. All right, let's get to the next topic that already is kind of a spoiled. It's called
Ooh,
coolest mechanism. That's when I talked about
okay,
the lacrimosa mechanism. It's not on my list as a coolest mechanism, though. There's
okay.
another one.
All right. Well, the
Yours?
one I have for this topic is the game Distilled. So, Distilled has this really interesting mechanism. It's an interesting way to do kind of push your luck because you're trying to make some sort of spirit, and you have these recipes for the spirits. For example, your spirit might need to have two rice sugars in it. And you can put in as many rice sugars as you like, but it needs to have the two after it's made. And what you're going to end up doing is shuffle. You'll put in the things you need. You have to have a
Hmm.
water. You have to have a yeast. You have to have a sugar. You can put in more, and then you'll add in alcohol, which is kind of a filler. And then you're going to shuffle up this deck of spirit, and you're going to take two cards out. Thematically, you're supposed to take the top one and the bottom. That doesn't matter at all. It could just be any two, but there's some sort of thematic reason for that. But you're going to take two cards out and keep them in your storehouse to use again later, and then you're going to look at it and see what it is. So you don't quite know what you're going to get. You don't know how it's going to end up working, but you can plan for it, right? If you need three sugars, well, if you put in five, then you're guaranteed to hit it, but you might have wasted, some resources there because you don't get them back. And so it's an interesting mechanism that's thematically tied. I mean, the rest of the game mechanisms are fairly Euro, right? It's going to be buying stuff, upgrading your distillery with special abilities. But just that sort of process that you're going to do normally 7 times in the game because you do one spirit every round, of the way that you do that, I just found that to be really interesting. And I really enjoyed it.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. That's looks cool. Maybe I'll try it at some point.
This game is worth trying. It also looks really good, even if
Mm-hmm.
you don't love spirits.
The ghosts?
Well, I like those, but the alcoholic ones are not really my cup of gin. But
cup of cup of cup of something in your tea.
cup of gin.
Anyway, some cognac into your tea. Okay. Anyway, my best pick for best pick, my pick for the coolest mechanism, and I thought of several ones, and so I was thinking about this lacrimosa mechanism. Then I was thinking about Wonderland War back building thing, but then I was like, you know, sometimes I love when games do it the simple way, and it's so much fun. It's very simple mechanism, but it's so much fun. And this is in the first rat.
Oh.
And this is movement of the rats. I love the movement of the rats. Look, if you have one rat, that's fine. If you have several rats, the best possible combination you can get of those resources is like you're trying to like your rats can move up to a certain number of spaces. If you move several rats, it's up to 3 spaces. And you want all of them, and not want. If you want to move them all, you have to land all of them on the same colored space. Like all of them must be on this green space or the yellow space.
Right.
And it creates so much, I wouldn't say the brain burn, but it creates so much technical decisions, or where you position your rat, or do you move several or one rat, or like how you do that. Yeah, or do you position like this round? I'm gonna just position them this way, so I can then move all of them into that particular spot, get lots of those light bulbs, and then boom, I'm at the top of the light bulbs. I get this
Boom.
achievement. Yeah. So I love this mechanism. And what's cool, it's basically you can play with the pre-made kind of a board, or you can play the ones that where you put the tokens out the other way. So you can customize it. Basically, you can customize the game. You can customize those spaces, how they go around. And the other thing is that everything depends on the players. It's not like you're gonna do all of the same stuff and all the same spaces at the same time, because the other players might block you off. Like I prepared my mice or rats, I'm sorry, to the next turn move into those particular space, and then somebody just blocks one of those spaces. I'm like, oh, I could have had
They
a
don't
perfect
block you.
turn.
You just have to pay
I
one
mean,
cheese.
yeah, like you're not fully blocked. You have to pay them cheese, but then I have exactly 10 cheese, so I wanna use the 10 cheese to get
Ah.
the achievement, and now I have to give away. And there's like not one person, there's two people, so I have to give away 2 cheeses. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay.
This look, this first strat also has a lot of puns. But anyway, the movement mechanism is the one I think is the one of the main things, one of the most fun things in first strat. Is this movement. It's all about this movement.
Fair enough. I really enjoy First Rat. It was a pleasant surprise for me. I've actually only ever played on the base side. I've played the game tons of times. It just, it's one that has worked well on a lot of occasions.
Yeah. Cool. Let's get to the next topic, which is best Kickstarter. And what I was thinking about is the game that delivered this year.
Oh, you actually want a game that delivered. Uh, my game that I'll talk about for this, and there have been a lot of good Kickstarter deliveries, but this is a big. I mean, you look at this game and it shouts, "I was a Kickstarter," and that's because it comes in a box that says "gigantic box" on the side. It actually says "galactic box." The game is called Voidfall.
Yeah.
This game is very orange, and it is a big, big game. In fact, it might be too big. It's so big that it hurts itself in my rating because I love this game. This game is everything I would want. It's the most Euro-y of space games imaginable.
Yeah.
But what you're doing is you can play it competitively, you can play it cooperatively, and I prefer the competitive, although I've played the cooperative or solo is what I played. Um, but you're upgrading your empire. You're sailing out into the stars. You're fighting with this orange menace that is called the Voidborn, I think. You've got this board with these tracks you're moving up, and every track you move up gives you abilities, and you have to get tracks past certain points to upgrade your technologies. You've got technologies, and you might have something that no one else does. There's goals that you're trying to do. There's this very Euro-y deterministic combat where there's not really any opportunities for surprise other than you have more stuff or you have a better technology, but that's all known. And you're really only playing, I believe it's like 3 rounds of the game, but each round is very long. And sort of the way that it works is you have a hand of all of these actions. It's not a randomly drawn hand; you just have them all. And on each card, there are 3 actions, and you get to choose 2. But one thing you can do is sort of get these tokens that you can spend that allow you to choose a 3rd action. Or you can get these gold cards that allow you to do a free action when you do another type. So you can do more than just 2 things on your turn. But it's sort of planning all this stuff. It's there's not really a way to get things back. So timing everything is very key. It's look, this is the Kickstarter version is huge. It's got everything you would expect.
Huge.
Too many minis. But the game itself is really, really good. I will say this is a great game to be taught by someone else, because going through the 5 rule books is a bit of a chore.
By someone else.
I did it. I made it through. I made it out the other side. But it's not something. I mean, this game has so many barriers to entry. But you look at it in this huge box, this huge purple and orange box, and you can tell it's saying, "I'm not for you." It definitely tries to warn you, but it is definitely for me. A great Kickstarter, well run. I think it was even an on-time delivery, and a great production as well. Just great on a lot of aspects.
Okay. Cool. I'll try it someday.
You should have someone teach you.
I know who. I know
Victor?
where. I know when.
Victor's teaching you where and when?
No, Victor's teaching me that sauna game.
Yeah, he probably
Yes.
is. All right. Enjoy.
Anyway, thank you. Bye. My pick for the best Kickstarter, and this is the only one because I don't back Kickstarters anymore. And
Neither do I.
Look, I backed. I recently bought several deluxe editions or Kickstarter editions of games because I know there are a few shops that back the retail pledge, and then they get those, and then it costs more. But I pay a little bit more. I'd rather pay a little bit more, but I know that now I'm getting it. It's gonna be there in a few days. It's not like I'm gonna back it and then I'm gonna wait for 3 years because of the delays. I just don't want to do that anymore. But this is the one that I backed a long time ago, before I was smart not backing them anymore. I was still backing games, and this one finally delivered in 2023, and I really enjoyed it. Subterra 2.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Look, I enjoy Subterra because one of my I could have picked this one as a coolest mechanism, but because I already played Subterra, the first one, and I wasn't really so enamored and surprised with the game. But this one, yeah, as you can see the tiles, this is all about the exploration of the temple. You start the beginning, nothing is explored. You're trying to find the keys, put them into the temple tile, get the big thing, and then the lava starts flowing at you. You want to run away. There's lots of different traps, and the guardians come up and they try to hit you. We played the wrong way the first time, but I played with my friends who are not gamers. I think I told that in one of the podcasts. So, but I'll say it again. So I played with a bunch of friends who are not gamers, and we had and even when we played the first 1.5 times, we played it wrong with the guardian movement. Everybody's like, let's do it again. Yes, it's so good. Everybody's so excited about this one because they also love the exploration. And you can just rush in, just run through the dungeon, but you're probably gonna get killed because you run into all those pits and traps and things. Or you can do it more slowly and gradually just peeking at the tile and then going in there. But if you do it too slowly, you know, it's the other way around. It's the other extreme where you're gonna die because you're too slow. So yeah, there's lots of different characters, more than in Subterra the first one. I don't know if the Subterra with expansions was add more characters. I don't know.
I think it
Anyway,
did.
I have it with the two expansions, and I have a ton of different characters. That's what I like. And we like each game we played with those friends. We like, let's take new characters. Let's take new characters, and let's take the random ones. Like, just I like this picture. I like this thing. Like, just let's try it out. It's not like we tried to find the best combination of the characters. It was just fun picking them, just going into the temple, exploring it. Oh, there's a pit. Oh, you can save me there. Oh, and one of the biggest things that changes that I love about this game, it expands on the Subterra overally. It's just a better Subterra. It is. And the other cool thing is the small mechanism is when you die in initial Subterra, you cannot move. You cannot do anything. You just do the bad event thing, but nothing else. In this one,
Okay.
as an action, you can move one space, like you're roaming towards your fellows so they can save you, or you can position yourself in a better spot so they can save you because maybe you're on a rumble spot. Like, I like that because it's something that you can still do or move, or like you're still in the game. Yeah, I really
Sure.
enjoy Subterra. It's with the right crowd. It's amazing.
Very
And I
well.
love exploration. That's one of my favorite mechanisms ever. Yeah.
Okay. I haven't played the new one, obviously. I was underwhelmed by Subterra 1, so it wasn't high on my list, but I'm glad you got it and I'm glad you enjoyed it.
We can play it. Do you have a copy?
I don't actually.
I can bring it. It's not a big
Ooh.
box.
Oh, okay. Well, we shall
Let's
see.
play it. You might like it more
I might
with
like
me.
it more. Oh, yes, yes. It's the issue is I didn't play it with you. That's why.
Yes. Yes, because I'm a funny guy, and we're gonna get some Wendy's, or I don't know, or Chick-fil-A, and
Okay. Well, let's see how we do.
'cause I'm trying to cushion the blow from this game,
Uh-oh.
with Chick-fil-A. Uh,
All right.
anyway, let's get to the next one. This is the most played game this year.
Okay.
Doesn't mean it doesn't mean a new game played this, but like overly. Like, if you go to PG stats, what's your most played game? It can be Summoner
Well,
Wars.
it can.
Mm-hmm.
See, I thought this was the most played game that wasn't Summoner Wars, which would be Earth for me. But if we're including Summoner Wars, then yes, Summoner Wars Second
Okay,
Edition
let's
is my
let's talk
most
about.
played game.
But okay, let's because it's gonna be your most played game every year. Let's pick the second option.
My second most played game is a 2023 game, and that is Earth. Earth
Okay.
is Wingspan esque, I guess, is the best way to describe it. It's
Okay. That's
you're
cool.
building this 4x4 tableau of cards, and the core mechanism is the selection of actions. There's four actions to select. On your turn, you'll select one, and then everyone will do some version of that action, and then you'll activate and the actions have colors. There's a green, a red, a blue, and a yellow, and then you're going to activate all the cards in your tableau that have that color assigned to them. So you can see in this tableau here in the picture, there's a yellow and then a red and a red. So this person's kind of going for a red. It's got sort of this Wingspan-esque engine building, except instead of being in rows, it's color themed. But it's not that hard to draw that connection. It's mostly a card game, but you're trying to get points in a variety of ways. Cards are worth points. There are goals, usually for getting certain types of symbols. There are points for building those little trees on the cards. There's points for putting these cubes on the cards. And you're just going to go through it until someone finishes their tableau. then you score it up, and you're done. It's really a fascinating game. It's just so exciting, even though nothing's really. I mean, I don't know if there's any one mechanism that's super exciting, but it can be really satisfying to build something up, run that engine a few times, focus on different things because there's hundreds of cards, and there's so many different ways you could try this, different ways to peel that orange. Um, and I just really like it. Obviously, since I've played it 94 times, I guess that's probably enough to form an opinion about it. And Earth, it's really great.
Yeah, some people can play every possible day for many different games each day.
Some people can, but I have played this one a lot of times, especially earlier in the year when this came out. It was what I was playing.
Yeah, the one I want to try definitely because it's big in the community.
Okay.
Anyway, my pick for the most played game is there were two of those, but I picked this one. It's Witcher Old World because I think I didn't put down one of the plays probably. I don't remember. I might have skipped the play. I didn't. So Witcher Old World is I could have chosen it as my IP game, but the one thing is that this is set in the world before Geralt and the main events of the books and series and stuff. So it's like IP is there, but I don't have great connection to it. That's why. But anyway, it works. It's a Witcher. You fight monsters. You go around the board, and you're trying to get the glory or whatever it is, the glory points so you can win the game. So the first time I played it, I was like, each time I play it is long. It's long because I play it with new people. It's on a long side, but I played with new people as well, and then like I played it a bunch because it's like I want to show it to this person, then I'll show it to this, and now I bought the Skellige expansion. I have to try it, and then I bought the Legendary Monsters expansion. I have to try it. It's like I have to try the expansions and see how the game evolves and etc. So I like the story elements, like you have this city versus the outskirts cards, and then somebody just reads your card. It's a simple thing. They read your card, they give you a choice: do you kill this peasant, or do you give them food, and then blah blah blah, something happens. It's not like that. I'm just making it up and making it sound worse than it is. There's some rather positive choices or something like that, and then some cards give you further quests, and then it's basically just go there and then you activate a new card, and then you might get equipment. The main thing about this one is that you are trying to level your stats, and of course fight monsters, and the fighting mechanism, they are in the rulebook. They seem a bit clunky, but once you get a grasp of that, they are actually quite easy to grab, especially against the monster. It's quite easy. The reward system is different, but yeah. But anyway, it's not that hard. This is not a complex game overly. Just very simple thing. Just move here, and the icons give you a pretty good idea what it does. And the main thing I like is that the one I maybe also thought about, and the coolest mechanism is the card play. I like it in Combo Fighter. So this is a card combination. When you fight, you combine cards by linking them, and thus you do more damage or get more shields or whatever else. So I like that idea. And the mages, they have a little bit different. So I also got the mages expansion. That's why I played it again, because I had the mages. So I tried the mages expansion. I liked different expansions. Some people didn't like one of the person I played the legendary monster for the first time. They didn't like this idea. I was like, no, I actually liked it because
that's my favorite of them.
Yeah, because the legendary monster gives you the opportunity to just go slay them and end the game. You don't like if somebody is going for the trophies and they're on the second to last, or whatever, one of the last spaces, you can still win. But if you're stuck
Yeah.
with the base game cadence is not great. Legendary monsters just makes it right. You have to beat the legendary monster in order to win the game. You have to.
Right. And that's all you have to do.
Yes, and you don't have to get the trophies, but you want to get the trophies because the legendary monster becomes less powerful because of that. You get more powerful as well with the abilities and stuff. So yeah, I enjoy Witcher Old World. It's too long. It's that too long for me. But maybe if I play it with people who already played it, I always taught it to new players. If I played it a bunch with a person or two who I played it with before, I might kind of shorten the length of the game. But I still enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to the expansions that are going to release in 2024. There was the adventure deck, like the new stories deck, something like that, and there was some others as well. So it's a Kickstarter game. So some of the expansions they released in retail, and some of them will be releasing in retail next year. So I'm looking forward to that because I wanna more cards. I want a more story. I want a more stuff.
I want stuff. Yeah, I like this one too. I played it. Looks like 7 times, which is a respectable number, but not close to my most played. But one that I enjoy, and it's one that I've really enjoyed solo. I played it a few times solo, and it works really well,
I can see that.
especially if you have that legendary monster in there.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, let's get to the next topic, which is the best campaign game.
All right. The best campaign game that I haven't talked about yet it was actually kind of a surprise to me. I kind of bounced off the art style, but I decided to give it a go. This was Kinfire Chronicles. It's really a campaign-only game, and it's an interesting game of kind of tactical movement and card combat. You're working together. You're some, unusual fantasy characters, and each scenario. When you open the box, there's a separate box for each of the scenarios, and it will usually have all the pieces you need for that scenario. So it'll have the boss, it'll have any tokens and things like that. So you you'll ultimately open to a page in a book which has a map. There's some story you play for, which might give you some bonuses, might change the way the boss fight works, various things that could happen there. But yeah, you're going to be playing through it, usually fighting some big boss, working together. It's interesting because when I do something, the combat's fairly deterministic, right? I'm going to do 2 damage, but each other player I'm playing with can play an additional card to boost that damage if they have the right ones. And the way that the turn order works is you've got all these tokens in a bag, you pull them out. The boss has certain abilities that activate if a certain token's drawn. You get to activate when yours is drawn. So there's that going on. It's just a really interesting game. I've enjoyed the story so far. Look, it's not the best story, but I've enjoyed it. It's been enough to keep me going. I've enjoyed the character progression. I've enjoyed I played, I don't know, 5, 6 of the, I think, 20 scenarios in the campaign. And I've really enjoyed it. I found it to be a great campaign game.
Okay, cool. Don't know that one. I
wasn't expecting you would.
My pick for campaign game, it's not fully a campaign game, but it's the repeat I have now because I haven't played that many campaign games. I wanted to pick Deep Rock Galactic, but it didn't feel that campaign to me.
It's not really.
Yeah, it's not really. So it's campaign adjacent. But the one I picked is yet again Last Ruins of Arnak, the Missing Expedition, the campaign mode of this expansion.
Sure.
So
that's fair.
So yeah, I haven't played that because I'm not into like campaigns that much nowadays. I wanted to play, so I wanted to go through I didn't pick Vagrant Song. I played it this year, but I didn't play it much, and then I just sold it because I realized that I'm not gonna get through Vagrant Song, and so somebody asked me if I want to play the god, the oh my god, the Red Ravens
Sleeping
game,
Gods? Oh,
Sleeping Gods.
Sleeping
Yeah,
Gods.
but then I was
Distant
like,
Skies?
no, the initial one. And then I'm like, yes, I wanna, but I asked them, do I have to commit to the campaign? They said yes. I'm like, sorry, then no, I cannot, because we're gonna get together once a month at most, and then like no, it's I don't like that. Anyway, Lost in Svarnak, we talked about that. The Missing Expedition campaign mode for solo or two players works really well. I really like it. It's amazing. Let's get to
All
the
right.
next topic.
There we go.
Biggest surprise. Biggest.
Biggest
I have.
surprise. That's not how
I'm
we spell
sorry. I'm
biggest.
sorry.
But while you're talking about
Bogus
the
surprise. No,
there
biggest
we go. The biggest
surprise.
surprise. The biggest surprise was the misspelling of biggest. Um, biggest surprise is actually a game I played, and I played the whole game, all 8 scenarios, just yesterday. And it was such a delightful surprise. I
You're
had to
crazy.
rope my friends into playing it, but this was Noobs in Space.
Okay.
Uh, so the name, so it's almost an escape room game. Almost.
Oh,
What you do
hello.
is you have there are 8 scenarios, and you're going through some sort of a stupid story. But the first scenario, well, there's also a tutorial which basically just teaches you the rules. Um, but you're gonna find all the cards that work with your particular scenario. It's listed on the back of the card. It's not hard. So if you find all the scenario ones, you shuffle them up, you deal them to people. And then there's tasks. And so whoever has task one is going to walk everyone through the task. And that task might be flip the right lever. But then, it's going to be how you don't know. It says follow the instructions and flip the lever. And then you're like, okay, well, what does that mean? And you're able to talk about all the cards you have in your hand. No limit on that. You just can't show anyone. And so, everyone might have some card that mentions levers. And so you're thinking, okay, if there are exactly 4 levers, we're doing this. If there are 5, we're doing that. If there are 6, and there's also a red wire, we have to do this instead. And so you're kind of working it out together, talking together, figuring out what you're going to be doing. And then finally you decide to do it. And then once you've completed all the tasks, you flip the page and see how you did. There's also some silliness in, like, there's some cards where it says if ever you hear the word box, you're supposed to say open. And if you hear the word anticipation, you're supposed to say blue. And so, you're kind of going through the cards, and whenever it happens, you're like, oh, okay, this is here. And then, the cards show up multiple times and have different features on them. And one might have this, I don't know, innocuous symbol in the corner. And you've seen it so many times. And then all of a sudden, when you need it, you're like, I've not seen it. I don't know where it is. And then finally, after it's much too late, you're like, oh no, I had that in my hand. How embarrassing. Cooperative, but the good kind of cooperative, right? Because you don't have any open information. So, you're really depending on everyone to talk things out, figure things out, describe things. It's a stupid game, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I mean, we played through the whole thing, start to finish, all 8 scenarios. I mean, you could replay it if you don't have a good memory, but I'll probably just give mine away just because I don't. There's not really anything to go back to. But I had a great time with it. I was surprised because usually I don't like games like that. I was surprised because it's called Noobs in Space. Sounds
Yeah.
stupid, but
Nice.
it was just a lot of fun.
Cool. Keep it. Keep it. I want it. I want to play it.
Keep it. I want it.
Yes.
You mean keep it and give it to me, or do you mean?
Yes, give it to me. I want to play
Oh,
it. If
I
if you're gonna
see.
get rid of that anyway, so if you say it's kind of like escape room game, I love them.
Yeah, you do need 3 to 5 people to play it, though. Just be aware of that.
I'll find people.
And everyone needs to speak English pretty well.
Oh, it's yeah. Everybody I play with, we
Okay.
like if we play the Witcher Old World and all that stuff. We
Fair enough.
speak.
Yeah, Witcher Old World's a pretty Englishy game.
Yes, I English very satisfaction. Yes,
Okay.
yeah, whatever. Um,
That's my biggest surprise, Noobs in Space.
Biggest noobs in space. So my biggest noobs in space surprise space. Anyway, my biggest surprise is the game that I brought. Like so, next year, Noobs in Space might be on my list again because if you give it to me, it's gonna be the same as with this game that you gave me,
Uh-oh.
and
Is it-
I didn't like. I wanted to try it, but because of the area control, it was like I don't know. I don't know exactly if I will like it, and then I enjoyed it so much. And this is Wonderland's War.
Well,
And you know, I'm not the biggest fan of area control, and fighting each other, but this one kind of feels right. The area control is not that huge. The fighting is not that huge. Not your confrontational like Kemet like fighting. It's there, but I like the mechanism of going. There's the Tea Party phase or something like that, where you go around the table like a rondel. You pick the cards and stuff, and you get the different meeples and stuff and tokens and
right.
maybe special things. And there's this
Ooh.
back building mechanism. I really enjoy it. And then when you do the fighting, that's the thing. It's I like the style of this fighting. You pick the chips. You take the chips out and how they come up, and you're trying to get the right chips in there so you can get those combinations or some more defense or some more offense or something like that. I don't know. The special abilities of the characters, I would say, a little bit clunky. Needs revision slightly, but as understood, they did something probably in the expansion. There was like a small expansion
Yes,
that they.
which is on its way to me right now.
Okay, so I didn't back the expansion, but I will just probably buy it at some point. Yeah, just an enjoyable game, great art, cool theme. I told you I was really surprised by this game.
Sure.
Really
Well, good.
surprised. So Wonderland's War is a really cool game.
All right.
Now, the biggest flop.
Okay.
Let's
You got to
get to
love
negative stuff now.
a big flop. Um, so my biggest flop, I may have hinted at this earlier that we would talk about it. This is Masters of the Universe Fields of Eternia. So
Okay.
two games came out at the same time, um, both sort of the same IP, and I literally got them within about a month of each other. And Fields of Eternia is the European one. It was only sold to and sent to European addresses in certain countries. I had my friend receive it for me, and then I picked it up when I went to Eurovision. This game, everything that the Fields or the Clash for Eternia did right, which was character focused, simple rules, fun, just sort of schlocky fun. This did wrong. This had so rules upon rules, three different combat systems, and then restrictions that made no sense. You can only do each action once per turn, which means that basically the whole game is moving across this. So you're looking at the miniatures game. That's a different game.
I don't know. It's on
Yeah,
my. I don't know.
it's the pictures are weird because the same company produced some sort of a minis game that is that
Anyway,
looks like
yeah,
the
yeah.
right. Yeah. Anyway, and it's not worth the time we're spending on it. But like there you can see it. So you've got this enormous map, and you're moving slowly across the map. And then if ever you die, you get sent back to start. And because you can only move one space a turn, You're just sort of, it's this slog. And when you finally get into a combat, if you lose that combat, you not only lose, you lose. and
Okay.
um, and the character's special abilities make no sense. I mean, why is He-Man shooting a blaster weapon, instead of carrying a sword? Things like that. There's just no joy in this game. This game was a colossal flop for me. And I was hoping it would be amazing because it's He-Man. And as you may have gathered, I'm poised to like all things He-Man. But especially in comparison with the other one, this one looks bad. But even by itself, it just feels like there was a game somebody wanted to make, and they got their hands on He-Man and decided to sort of cram it in. And it is terrible in every respect. No one I have played this with has enjoyed it, including solo. And
Yeah.
I just absolute flop for me.
Got it. Okay. My biggest flop is the game you taught me, and this is
Oh,
a 2022 release, I think. But the one I really anticipated because the other, let's say, bigger game from that designer kind of remind me of that other game that I love. I love Empire's Age of Discovery. I love it.
you do.
Now, when the designer comes up with another bigger game and says, "Oh, it's a civilization game," I love civilization games. I mean, at least I really want to find a great civilization game that fits me. But this one, oh, why? This is Mosaic.
Oh,
Mosaic
I love
is
that game.
not a good game.
It's
It's okay
fantastic.
game. It's a good game. It's not a great game. It's not. This is so abstract. The map, everything, the
It is.
card play. If you buy the base game as we understood, in like if you basically the retail copy of the game, it's nearly unplayable. It's small. It's not
Uh-huh.
good. The boards, the player boards. You showed me, and you bought those extra. You bought those special boards because then we could
Oh, the
track
special ones.
all
Yeah.
the different resources, whatever they are, and it's important. And I felt like, ooh, if I would have played without those boards, I would have flipped the table because I
Uh-oh.
hate, calculating and constantly looking at the tons of icons. Like, how much of that do I have? How much of that do I have? It's oh, and I was just because this resource collection, everything's so dry, so abstract. The military thing, non-existent. Like it's not a forex game at all. It's like doesn't feel like that at least. The putting stuff on the board, it just doesn't feel like I'm building something. It just everything in this one. The card play was okay, but everything else in this one just felt so wrong, so abstract, so out of place that it was biggest flop. I was really disappointed. I do not recommend the game to those who love civilization games and want to get the theme out of civilization and want to feel like they're building civilization. You will not feel that here. You will not.
Mm.
It's like, or if you will, I would applaud you and okay, but this is not a
You'll have to applaud
civilization
me
game.
because I found this to be fantastic. A nice civilization feel in a short-ish time frame.
If you feel like
I
it's a
just had the
civilization building
opposite
game,
experience
okay.
with you.
Yeah, I no.
It is more
Big no.
civilization than Tapestry. Uh, and I
Not
love the
arguing
sort of
that.
fast turns of this game. You just do one of these things. And I mean, Victor and I really love this game. I'm sorry you had a sad experience with it, but hey, individual mileage may vary.
Yeah, it's just it would have been a different game, different theme, maybe. But just it's a flop because
He-Man. Put He-Man in this game.
yeah. Now I have a farmer. Anyway, let's get to the last category. Since we're
The
running out of
last
time.
category.
Yeah, the best game of 2023. And now, not a 2023 release particularly. It can be, doesn't have to be, the best game we played this year. And I tried to pick, of course, as I said, I tried to pick the games that I played for the first time.
Sure. Well, mine is a 2023 release, and it's so far I made it through the whole episode with only one overlap, and that is Nucleum. That's my best game of 2023.
Not
I just
Earth?
love everything about this game. What?
Not
Well,
Earth?
Earth I love too, and I had more time with Earth because Earth came out in March, and Nucleum came out in well, I played it in September and got it in October.
Do you
But
love Nuclear
Nucleum,
more than me?
yes.
Then
But
it's
to
a
be fair,
best game.
I
Okay.
don't love you very much. Um,
You heard
um,
that, folks. He's
yes,
fired from the
exactly.
channel. Uh,
Goodbye, everyone. So Nucleum is my kind of game of the year. Maybe there's an alternate world where it could have been He-Man, or it could have been Earth, or it could even have been Sky Team. But ultimately, the game that I get the most excited about when I talk about it, when I set it up, when I teach it, when I play it, is Nucleum. And this game does everything I'm looking for in a game. I would just, it feels like a spin-off of something like Barrage, in many of its aspects, but less mean. And it lets me. It has interesting mechanisms. It has great decisions and different things to try. And it's open enough that you can do anything you want, and closed enough to be tight if you let other people get in there. I just really love Nuclear.
cool. My pick for the best game of the year is of the year, but best game I played this year, the new to me game, is Overlap again. But I think this game really delivered on those different. It's the third time I mention it.
Whoa! Does it
It's
involve
deep.
dwarves?
Yes, Queen. It's deep. It's Deep Rock Galactic. Yeah, everything I said about that one, because it just fits me. It has some clunky rules, but already, I mean, clunky. The rulebook is not great. Okay, let's say the rulebook is not great, but once you get into the game, it's not that hard. It kind of delivers on the theme of the video game. It pays the homage to the video game, and it just plays well. It, cooperative experience is great. The art is great. The tokens and things are great. And
Good game.
I'm also looking forward to. I didn't back the expansions. I didn't back them right now because I'm like,
Neither
it's gonna
did
be
I.
delayed. Yeah, it's gonna be delayed for a long time. So I'm probably, I don't know. I don't want to wait too long. When they come out, I will just buy them. And so yeah, the new expansions, they add a lot more. I'm anticipating the expansions because they add some of the missions I really wanted to have in this game that I played in the video game. So biomes and things as well. So anyway,
And player aids. They're adding player aids.
And yes, yes, player aids, exactly. So anyway, I really enjoyed this game.
Good.
And I will enjoy it. The more I play it, probably the more I play it, the more I will enjoy it.
Very
Further
well.
on. All right. This is it for today's topic. Let's get back here and let's just hide this thing here. Anyway, it's done. Exactly 2 hours and a lot of games to talk about.
But yes.
We'll just wait.
And we're just going to hold on and then cut off right at the 2 hour mark.
Yes.
All right, there we go. Well, yeah, 2020 was a good year. I played a lot of great games. Not much I can say more than that.
Yeah, I would also say that it's. I can see how many games that there are, and I can see that it's probably a really great year. I just haven't gotten to them, and I will get to them once I get to the cruise. And
you've got a list.
I've got a list, so I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy many of those games. And still, while not playing that much, I still played a bunch, and I still had those great moments.
See, now you've gone over 2 hours.
Yeah, I know. Let it be.
All right.
Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a happy new year coming up.
Yep. And
Great
we'll
holidays.
talk to you in the new year.
Yeah, in a year, we're going to talk to you.
Sounds great. Or on Wednesday.
Yes. Next Wednesday, next year.
That works.
Bye-bye.
So, bye-bye.